Mississippi State, number 7, Tennessee. Tennessee, 24-point favorite. The over-under I have is 5 Tennessee pass plays of 20 yards. In SEC play, Mississippi State has allowed 27 such plays in 5 games. As an average of 5.4 per contest. Not good. Not good at all. This is the Vols passing game. This is the passing game's most favorable matchup since they beat Kent State by roughly 5 billion points. Yep. And we were all surprised that Kent State wanted to play the second half without a running clock. And we're like, Kent State, what are you doing? It's 65-0. You're not trying to impress anyone. This is just going to hurt you. I think we're kind of past the if not now, then when point for the Tennessee passing game, at least to think that it's going to be an elite passing attack, right? I think we've seen enough now to realize it can get better, but to think that it's going to be what it was early in the season, that's just not going to be in the cards. Heupel praised the way that Nico played against Kentucky, how he was more decisive. I won't disagree with that. I thought he looked better after, the offense still only put up 7 points in the first half. But the deep ball just hasn't been there yet. And it wasn't there against Kentucky either. They had the 31-yard pass play to Kitzelman, the tight end, on the opening drive, but that was a 16-yard throw that he had some room to run. Those still count as explosive plays. That's good. You'll take those. But if we're talking about rising above the Joe Milton downfield passing attack from last year, you show it against a defense like this, in theory, especially as you're getting healthier at receiver, which Tennessee appears to be. Vols have 6 30-yard passing plays in 5 SEC games. It's 1.2 per game. Even last year's group with Joe Milton averaged 1.6 per game in SEC play. That number was over 2 with Hendon Hooker both of his years as a starter. Nico has not been Hendon Hooker yet. Okay? I think we all agree on that at this point. Maybe he's got some confidence back after a more inspiring performance against Kentucky. Got to see it in this one. I'm going to leave the door open for Mississippi State to hang around a bit because, again, 7 first-half points for the Vols in their last 4 games would suggest that this could make the home crowd a bit uneasy. I think they're very familiar with that. Definitely picking Mississippi State to cover, but I'm going to go 31-14 Vols. And I suppose there's a bit of an upset. That's kind of a roll of the dice as well, because to say 31 points means Tennessee's going to make a field goal. Max Gilbert 1 for his last 6. Not great. Keep that in mind for a Tennessee team that's developed a propensity for playing in some of these closer games, but do not expect it to be decided by a field goal down the stretch against Mississippi State.
For sure, yeah. This is a game that I feel like, honestly, both teams would rather us not super get into because we're just simming the season for Mississippi State. We're focusing on the positive. I will say, the same thing that we said about Georgia when they played Mississippi State here rings true, which is that you got to find out what you're going to do well against Mississippi State. For Tennessee, they've been a vertical offense. I can't say deep ball without thinking of Xavier Legette now. I'm not going to do the voice. But every time I hear the word deep ball, I think of him. But point being,
in general, in any football sense?
He just says it so perfectly. I know you hate when I do voices, but the way he says deep ball, I just put it in there, kind of like Middlemoss. Anyway, so point being, he got benched, by the way. Anyway, so point being, even, we saw Carson Beck throw for like 460 against this Mississippi State defense. I think this is where you got to let Nico just go out there and sling it. I think you got to just say, hey, even if you throw a couple picks, even if you look rattled out there, even if Dylan Sampson's awesome, I really do not want to do I don't want to eat into Dylan Sampson's prime time workload here.
Agreed.
I think Nico's arm could use a little stretching. He doesn't have these 30 and 40 pass attempt, 50 pass attempt games we're seeing across the SEC. I think we give him that no matter what in this game. If I'm Heupel, I say you need to just run plays. You need to just go out there and just make your reads. You shouldn't have to care if you throw 3 picks, but I just need you to see guys covering your routes poorly so that you can make the right decision. And again, Mississippi State, shout out to them, they're rebuilding, but this is what you should do as, this top 10 team in Tennessee that has been hanging out all year. What are they going to be? Somehow you got a tune-up game this late in the season. Don't blow it. I got Tennessee.
Yeah. If you're Josh Heupel, you got to be watching that Dylan Sampson workload. 20 carries, I believe it was, in the second half of that game after it looked like he was in the doghouse post-fumble. And I know that you want him to be the main focus of your offense. And if it's tough to get away from that, if it's 7-3 and the home crowd's getting restless and Nico looks rattled, but I agree with you. I think you got to figure it out. You got to get some of that mojo back, and to put 2 maybe solid passing game performances together would bode well for you down the stretch. And if it can preserve the main focus of your offense and Sampson, then obviously that would be an added bonus.
Yeah, I think exactly your point. This is the first time in a 24-point spread that I've said, you got to wear your quarterback's arm out. Don't run the football.
Yeah.
We need this to look like Kid State from a Tennessee perspective. It needs to look like, hey, we're back on schedule, all that. Don't look at the man behind the mirror. You have your quality win against Alabama. You got a gift and a tune-up game here. Just treat it like that and live with the picks, and it's going to look rough, and people are going to make fun of you, but who cares if you throw picks? You're trying to win the SEC.
Yeah, throw 30, 35 times in this game, which is high volume for the Tennessee offense.